So, this is the woman that was wearing blackface, right? And a bonnet. And I did a video about her. This may take a minute to break this down with everything she's saying. I'm watching Martha Stewart. I love Martha Stewart. But I'm going to mute her. And I want you to hear what this woman has to say. And I will tell you my perspective on the shit she has to say, right? Excuse me.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to the show. So last night was Halloween, as many people know, and I decided to dress up like everyone else does. You know, people are out there dressed like Satan and witches, and they're dressed like every horrible thing under the sun. Well, I decided to dress up as something, the most horrifying thing I could think of, which is the black woman, which is a person who is angry and fed up that their EBT card has been declined, that their race card is no longer working in this new climate.
I want to just say something according to her thing. The most horrible thing she can think of is a black woman and the EBT card being cut off, right? She knows as well as most white supremacists that the majority of people on welfare and EBT are white people. It was set up for white people. But she'll negate that and she won't speak on it. This is probably going to be more than a 2-part or 3-part series. So she knows this, but she's being disingenuous about her statement concerning welfare and EBT.
And that they're not receiving the reparations that they think they deserve, despite the fact that they did not build this country, contrary to what they say all the time. And they are certainly not improving the country. They are actually doing everything in their power to destroy the country. So I made...
Black women are not destroying this country. However, white women are right now. And white women started destroying this country when they allowed or voted for Trump into office. And what he's doing right now is destroying the country. It's destroying everybody's economic systems, whether it's the travel industry, whether it's the casino industry, whether it's the farming industry, you name it. Trump is destroying all of it. Which is what these white supremacists like her want to happen. They're very jealous-hearted. And anybody that's succeeding in America that is not white like her, I mean, clearly she's not white. Not by skin tone. Mindset, yes. So I'll go with it. However, they're very jealous-hearted. They don't want anybody else to succeed. And it's always been that way. Okay?
Stream last night, a live stream, and a few people watched it, and now people are quite angry. Several allegations are being alleged against me. Why is she doing this? Is she just a shock jock, just an agent provocateur?
You're that.
Or is she a grifter? Or is she Jewish?
And you're a grifter.
Or is this a federal asset here to seed division amongst people? So I want to put some of those accusations to bed. I want to explain the method behind the madness and perhaps what my long-term goals are. Because unlike an agent provocateur who just wants to cause chaos,
you're that.
I actually want to see my country improved. Okay, and you might say, well, how is doing blackface on a stream, how is that improving the country? Well, let me explain to you how. The country has been slowly dissolving into destruction. It's slowly been destroyed over time.
The country has not been declining into destruction. It has not. For the past 10, 15, 20 years, the progression of America has made leaps and bounds, economically, and you name it. Could we do better? Most definitely. But under a white supremacist regime, that's never going to happen. So the country has not dissolved into destruction at all.
frogs and boiling water. That's what's been going on in this country. We've slowly had our rights stripped away. We've slowly lost sovereignty of our country, and now shadowy forces that are now becoming.
Your rights have never been stripped away. Be honest. What rights did you ever have that's been stripped away? Your rights haven't been stripped away. You feel so confident in your privilege and your rights that you decided to get in blackface and a bonnet and talk shit about women you hate but secretly want to be. You've lost no privilege. You've lost no rights, because your freedom of speech is still intact, and you're still able to do and spew racism. And social media has not blocked you, banned you, or taken you off the air. So you haven't had anything stripped away.
More identifiable and clear to the general populace, have destroyed our country. They've shipped in immigrants. They've shipped in all sorts of cultures that clash with our cultures and our religions. And we've lost our national identity, and we've lost our racial identity as well.
I'm not a black woman. I don't claim whiteness, because white is a state of mind. But I will say this. I still have my national identity. My national identity has not left me. I feel like you personally have given up your national identity, and you're okay with the Constitution being destroyed. You're okay with harming other people. You're okay with the propaganda that is taking place within the past year, and a little bit longer than that. Actually, Trump's first term. So you were okay with all that propaganda. So anything that's happening to this country right now that is in a decline is what you and white racists have caused. And I'm going to be God's honest with you. You have caused this. You have caused the decline. It's not immigrants' faults for what you're feeling, your inferiority. It's not their fault. If you've lost your culture, it's because you gave it away. Being a trad wannabe wife, I don't know if you're married or not, but being a trad wife it's not a culture. I'm sorry, it's not. There's no cultural identity to that. And the reason why you call yourself white is because you have given out. You've literally freely given up your culture on your own. Nobody's taken it away from you. You've given it up. Because people who have cultural pride, legit cultural pride, not racial identity, but actual cultural pride, they don't feel anybody's taking anything away from them. You don't have that, though. You don't cultivate that. You don't cultivate anything that is cultural. You haven't. Let's continue.
They've been pushing miscegenation on us. They've been pushing this idea that we should be guilty for the reason, and it's white people that are to blame for the
White people are to blame.
The downfall and destruction of not.
Let me just say this. White people, and I don't believe in a racial grouping. When I say white people, I'm talking about a mindset, and you definitely have the same mindset that lynched people, that gave smallpox blankets to people, that used biochemical warfare on people, that used war period on people to control, steal, and take from people. So you still have the same mindset. I could give you a pass. Honestly, I could give you a pass if you weren't spewing the same rhetoric and the same ideals as the people of the past that have done those things. You have the same mindset. You have the identical mindset of the people that have done all those genocides colonization, you have the exact same mindset. Nothing's changed. It's in your bloodline. You have not changed anything. And when you talk about biblical, because later on you're going to talk about being in the Bible and all this other stuff, right? Religious freedom. If you actually truly believed in, read the Bible, in Revelations is a very good starting point because it talks about being before the throne, before many people, tribes, people, and tongues, different cultures, different races, and truly different religious beliefs before the throne of God. But you don't want to afford other people the same prosperity, the same type of rights, and the same type of freedoms that you personally think you are entitled to.
On white people, of course, there's no accountability in that camp. It's just our fault as well. So I've been looking back and I've been seeing my country get progressively worse. And I've noticed it seems to have been a national uptick.
I'm sorry, but ma'am, it's not just your country. It's everybody that's in this country's country. Even if you are an immigrant, it's still their country too. They chose this country. They chose to love this country. They chose to work hard in this country. So it's not just you. You don't get ownership of this country just because you think you have a skin tone and an agenda that you have the right to it. Everybody else does too. We all have a right to this country. Not just you.
In the destruction and chaos in the last 5 years, I've seen my country become destroyed at an accelerated pace. I think we can all tell. I think it was kicked off with COVID when we were collectively stripped of our rights. And it's just continued to escalate ever since.
Wasn't Trump the person you just voted? You talked about voting for. Wasn't he the president during the start of COVID? Did he strip your rights? I'm curious because that's what you're talking about. But yet you voted for him again. That's very odd.
So what I want is I want my country to be great again, okay? That's why Trump won in 2016, and that's why he's our president now, because he ran on this slogan of making America great again. I think he has failed in a lot of ways because when a politician gets up into a position of political power, they quickly are presented with the real people who run our country, and they quickly learn that there is no sovereignty and there's no power in the political offices that they hold, despite being elected there.
Let me just say this. Sovereignty or having a sovereign mind, nobody can take that from you. I'm sorry. Even Jesus, the person you claim to love in the Bible, who happened to be a black man by anyways, he wasn't white. But that person you claim to love, even when he was dying, still continued to keep his sovereignty. He was still sovereign. Nobody's stripping anybody's sovereignty. You can't strip somebody's sovereignty. You cannot.
On certain promises that they gave the voter, and the voter elects them into those positions. I want that to change. I want our sovereignty back. I want our racial identity back. And I want my homogenous society back.
Nobody's taking your racial identity. You have no racial identity. Let me just say this. It's a mindset. Your racial identity doesn't actually exist. It's fraudulent, just like your president. It's fraudulent. It's corrupt. It's fraudulent. Nobody's taking anything from you. Your mindset stays intact, which is why you have the freedom to say what the fuck you're saying right now on social media. Nobody's taking that right away from you. Because white is a mindset. It's not a race. Let's be honest.
A country to live in that's going to be a good, thriving place for my children to grow up in. I want a place where families can feel safe to raise children. I want a place where everyone, despite how poor you are, despite how rich you are, can live in peace and can live in nice.
Except for if you're brown, or except if you're a foreigner, or except if you're an immigrant, right? Then they can't have those things. But because you have a racial identity, you feel that you are entitled to all of those things, but nobody else is. Do you see the conflict? Do you see the conflict?
Prosperous communities. I want to live in a country that's respected again, and I want to live in a country that is ours again. And that's
If you wanted a country that was respected, you wouldn't have put a bozo in office that is the laughing stock of the fucking global world and global market. If you actually cared about the representation of this country, you wouldn't have put a fucking rapist, convicted rapist, a felon in the fucking White House. You wouldn't have done that. So you don't care about the respectability of America. Because if you did, you would never have elected him. So let's don't be fraudulent with your words.
what I mean when I say I want America to be great again. And the way we achieve that is that we start actually putting America and Americans first. First of all, we have to start by identifying who the American people are. This country was founded on white Christian people.
Incorrect.
And on white Christian values.
Incorrect.
And that is who I care about. And that is what our politicians should care about. They should care about those people. They should pander to those people. And they should serve those people. They should not be serving the interest of foreign countries and of foreign people. And they...
You trying to tell me you think other people should serve you, bitch? Just because you have paler skin? The audacity of this fucking bitch.
Should not be encouraging the mass migration of foreign people into our lands, which will cause the inevitable destruction and strife and chaos as we're seeing in the UK,
Nobody has seen chaos until you brought the fucking chaos. You put a president in office who doesn't care about breaking laws, who doesn't care about the Constitution, and then you have the nerve to talk about chaos. The insincerity and lies of it all.
in Canada, and as we're seeing now in the United States. In order to achieve this, we need a leader to rise up. The people are getting there. The people are waking up slowly but surely. It is happening.
To this part.
And the powers at be are not happy with that. They are using every sort of ploy in the book to get the people cowed back.
Let me just say this. I personally don't want your type of leadership. I personally don't want your vision of America. I personally don't want a homogenized society of just white people. I don't want your type of America. And I have the same color eyes as you, probably the same color hair, minus your fucking bleach, which okay, bleach your hair, bleach it blonde, that's your prerogative. Probably the same skin tone. I don't call myself white. Well, I have a mixture of other stuff in me, and you probably do too. Because white is a state of mind. I refuse to identify on a racial agenda. I refuse. I'm a woman. I always say I'm a woman. I'm a woman, period. But when it comes to racial identity, I don't adhere to that shit. And I also don't want your type of leadership. I don't want your leaders. I don't want your agenda. I don't want your views. Point blank, period. I want no part of that shit.
To a good place of submission, like how we used to be, ignorant, blissful, our heads in the sand. We don't know what's actually going on. We just think if we go to the polls and vote, everything will be fine. Well, as a lot of people are realizing, the left and the right are controlled by the same entity. They're two wings of the same bird. They do not serve our interests. You get different policies, but you get the exact same stuff.
I can
at the
agree
end of the
with
day.
that
We
part
still
only.
send billions and trillions of dollars to other.
I don't agree that things can't change, though. I don't agree that we can't be prosperous. I don't agree with your ideology, your racial identity politics. I don't adhere to that. I don't agree with it. I don't want any part of it. I love diversity. I love America's diversity. I love people who are immigrants. I just love that type of culture, different cultural aspects of America. It's beautiful to have that type of diversity. So personally, I don't want no part of your fucking agenda, your ideas of how the country should run. I don't want no fucking part of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't.
Countries, and we still see our fellow white people, white brothers and sisters, being put last. We see our country being put last, and I want to see our country being put first, and only, actually. The way to save this country before it's completely collapsed, before it's completely been taken over by aliens and invaders, is that we have to find a leader to now guide the people. Now that the people are ready for this leader, but they're not completely ready.
I don't want your
leader. We have to prime the waters for this leader.
I really don't want your leader. I don't want any of your leaders.
When you make a hot, like you boil a lot of water and you put the water in a pot because you want to make tea or whatever. Well, you have to temper the pot before you do that. So you put water in slowly. That's warmer and warmer and warmer until that glass jar, pot, pitcher, whatever is tempered. And until it's tempered, you cannot pour the boiling hot water into it, or it will crack the pot.
Okay, class.
How did they monetize this bitch? I'm sorry. How in the fuck did they monetize her?
Or it will crack the pot. So what me and several other people do is we come across as rather shocking. We do rather outlandish stunts, and we do crazy things.
If you're so proud of you being in blackface and things like that, and you're talking about tempering the pot, why don't you just identify yourself as a white supremacist? Because that's what the fuck you are. You want to be a white supremacist. You want to feel supreme. You're not supreme. Just call yourself like you are, a white supremacist. That's it.
We say offensive things, and we say the worst things possible in the most wild, outlandish ways possible, okay? We are, in a way, an agent provocateur. But unlike some agent provocateurs, there is a method to the madness. We have an end goal that we want. What I see myself as is the temperer. I want to temper the people for that when we have a leader that has all the messaging that we want, instead of people digging up his past and, oh, he said this racist thing, and, oh, did you hear that he said the N-word once? That people won't care because they're so used to hearing the craziest things ever that a leader with our aligned views will be able to get into an elected position of power without being taken down by the typical.
Nobody wants, and I'm going to end it here, nobody wants your corrupt ideas for America. I'm sorry. I personally don't want any part of it. I don't want your white supremacist view for America. I don't want your anti-immigrant view for America. I don't want your anti-LGBTQ view for America. I don't want your religious view for America. I don't want anything that is spewed out of your mouth for America. Period.